The next set of Bootstrap classes we're going to talk about are those that are used to style table elements. We can see here that we have a table element with some data in it, as well as this class that's been applied to it called the table class. This is a Bootstrap class that gives our table some nice default styling. For instance, it makes our table span the entire width of the block it's in. In this case, since it's in the row class, it will take up the full width of that row. It also provides some nice borders in between the table head and table body elements, as well as in between individual table rows within our body. However, there are some additional classes we can add to our table that can give it even more styling. For example, we can add the table bordered class. This will provide borders in between each of the columns within our table. We can add the table striped class. This will give alternating rows different colors so that it's easier to distinguish between them. We can add the table hover class. This will highlight whatever row our cursor is over. And finally, we can add the table condensed class. This will decrease the vertical padding in between our content and the borders of our cells so that we can fit more rows of data into less space. It's nice when we have a lot of rows of data to display in our table. And it should be noted that any of these classes can be used in conjunction with each other, meaning that we can use one or more for any given table depending on how we want to style it. But let's go into our browser to see how it looks. Indeed, we can see that there are borders in between each of the columns of our table. Our tables are striped. There's minimal padding between the content and the top and bottom borders of our cells, and our rows highlight when we hover over them. There's just one lurking problem, which is that on smaller screens, our table is going to get condensed such that it goes off of the view. And the horizontal scroll bar is all the way down at the bottom and dictated by our browser. It would be nice if our table itself had a scroll bar that allowed users to scroll over easily and see the additional data. Thankfully, Bootstrap does provide a way for us to do this. And we do this by nesting our table inside a div element that we assign a class called table responsive. Table responsive ensures that there's a scroll bar on the bottom of our table when our table is displayed on a viewport where data may go off the screen.